My name is Lesli Anderson. I am part of the Walmer AM congregation here at Oxygen Life Church in Port Elizabeth. I'm a full-time mom and I have 3 children. Today I'd like to share my salvation story with you. So I grew up in a large family, the youngest of 5 boys and the only girl. And growing up, I went to the local Methodist church until the mid-80s in primary school when my mom and dad both got saved. This was the beginning of a long and interesting journey between the Lord and I. Just before I went off to boarding school, in Senate 6 or grade 8 for the younger folk out there, I gave my life to the Lord and I went off to boarding school. I was never discipled, so I didn't have any friends at school who were serving the Lord. So I just did what I thought it would be to try and be as good as possible and behave and try and read my Bible when I remembered. I was sexually abused from a young age until my early teens by a close family member. So it was really complicated for me to try and reconcile the way he lived his life and as a Christian and what was happening to me. I remember going to church on weekends with my mom and dad and just thinking like, oh, these people, it's a bunch of hypocrites. There was no life for me. I didn't see, I couldn't understand all of this, what was going on. I would go to youth on a Friday night when I got back from the hostel, and the only reason I went was the boys were cute, and that was pretty much it. I really tried to find my identity in the way I looked, by how men and boys saw me. So I really didn't have a good understanding of what it felt like to be loved and to feel safe by a father. Hence, looking for identity in all the wrong places. So throughout my teens, I would have a boyfriend or two. Nobody at school knew what was happening. Nobody in my family knew what was happening. And I think not even anybody at school knew that I was a Christian or went to church. So I had these cute little boxes that I used to just compartmentalize my life in, and I looked pretty normal, and nobody really knew what was going on inside. After school, I worked and travelled for a few months, and on my return, I went to gym with my brothers at a local gym where I met a guy who's now my husband, Derek, and we dated for 3 years. And in that time, he got radically saved, and I recommitted my life. It was only after a whole year of marriage, or maybe even a little bit more, that I told him what had happened to me. And needless to say, for both of us, it was really hard to try and undo and unlearn bad habits that I had kind of brought into the marriage by not being truthful with him from the very beginning. In the late 90s, we moved from Johannesburg to Cape Town when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and we found a nice family church. We were very comfortable, and it was a great foundational church, but it wasn't much soon after that the Lord moved us on to a really, really great church where we were stretched, and there was lukewarm was not in the vocabulary. So we just encountered the Lord there, and we just saw that we saw real people serving a real God even in their brokenness. So I learned in that time that how much the enemy loves it when we keep things in the dark. My healing process started the moment I told the truth and opened up to my husband, and no longer felt the shame and the guilt of carrying this burden all on my own. I spoke to our community leaders who prayed with me and showed me how to really lay it down and give it to the Lord, and it was not my burden or my shame to carry any longer. In that time, we just grew, and it's safe to say that today, as a family, we've been serving the Lord now for the past 15 or so years, and I'm always amazed at His goodness and kindness, and our past hurts don't define who we are, and we can walk in freedom and not carry these burdens alone. So I hope this is encouraging to you, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my story.